Hey there you guys, welcome back. I'm surrounded by giants. Anyway, to start this video, I just wanted to say hello, my name is Bill and I have a problem. I am addicted to plants, and especially giant plants like elephant ears. Chris from Growing Things, you hit it on the head when you said my thing is really elephant ears. I like a lot of things. I have a very wide range of plant interests, as you all know. But elephant ears, for some reason, have this place that I see them and I get all excited, and I have to have them all. And especially the really, really big ones. As you know, we got the Thailand giant back behind me, and I'm already getting excited. I'm losing my breath. I've got the Thailand giant behind me, and then this one here is an upright, I'm going to say cousin. I'll use the term cousin loosely. This is an Alocasia, this is a Colocasia, this is Colocasia gigantea, and then this one is Alocasia Borneo giant. In another video we did a repot of a Alocasia macrorrhiza that wasn't getting very big. Anyway, that is kind of a cousin or a species of this. That is like a parent species, and then this is kind of something that they've developed over time, and this one gets gigantic. So the leaves on this one, I don't know, should get to be about 6, maybe 8 feet long, I think, and I can get up to 15 feet tall. Just a giant, really. I'll post some photos from what I saw online, and I'm sure after you see those you will know why my mouth started to water when I saw it, and I got all excited because I saw these at a garden center near my home, and I didn't pick them up. I didn't know what it was, but I remembered Borneo giant, and then I was looking through a website and I saw photos of it, and I'm like, why did I pass that up? So I was lucky enough they had one remaining. It was like 2 weeks that I didn't go back to the store, and they had one left. So it had my name all over it, I think. So anyway, you'll notice in the photos that these, when the leaves get big, they get beautiful ripples in the leaves. Quite stunning, very picturesque. And in some of the photos, there's people standing next to them, and the people look like ants. They're so small. And this plant is so big. So anyway, it's never going to grow that big in this climate, but I have read that it does get to be a really good size, probably easily 8 feet tall. Maybe even 10 feet tall in the 4 or 5 months of growing season that we have here. And also, I also was reading that this one easily goes dormant by chopping off the leaves and then putting it in a cool, dark place and then bringing it back out in the spring. I will be the judge of that, because I know that in the macrorrhiza family, they're very difficult to get to go dormant. So anyway, we'll give it a whirl. And this one here has an offset. It's got a baby. So one of them I'll probably try to grow normally, as I always do, and the other one I'll try to get to go dormant. So I'll always have something to fall back on. So anyway, I wanted to share this one with you. It's in a I think it's a 2-gallon pot. A very, very small pot in comparison to its size. It was really, really dry. As you can see, it's a little bit limp. It looks like this has blown over several times. So I watered it really, really well. We're going to move it into, again, one of these nice large purple pots. This might not be big enough for it when it gets really, really big, and it will tip over quite a lot, because this is a light plastic. With something like this with big sails for leaves, you'll want to have it in a heavier pot, or maybe something that's not so narrow at the bottom, because this will get very tippy in time, especially if this gets to be 6 or 8 feet tall with leaves that are, like I say, big sails. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's add some soil to this and pot it up. I'm so excited to get this done. Okay, so just like with the other Alocasia, the macrorrhiza, we are going to use this Pro Mix. It's for potting soil, or it's a potting mix, not for the garden. It's a lighter mix. These Alocasias like a nice, fertile, yet light mix. Their root system, they're like ropes, so they really travel through very quickly, and if you have a heavier soil, they can't travel as quickly, I find. So I'm just going to add this bag of soil into the big purple pot. And as always, I'm going to, oh, and I have paper towel in the bottom, my usual thing. I'm going to add some slow release fertilizer. I like to add slow release fertilizer. This here is an 11-20-11. It's just an all-purpose thing just to aid when I'm not fertilizing with liquid fertilizer, just so it has something to eat. The roots will stay nourished between feedings. So I always like to do that for my tropicals, especially for those heavy feeders like these, or hibiscus, or what other things, bananas. All of those really like a lot of food. I'm going to add a little bit more fertilizer. I like to go end of season and buy up these fertilizer things. These I get from the grocery stores when they're closing their garden centers for the season, and they're like 50 to 80% off. So you can't go wrong. I use it whenever I do repotting. So let's just mix that around. And like I said, this I watered this like crazy. I had it soaking in water just to make sure that it had enough moisture. Let's take this out of its pot. Want to be careful of the baby. Look at that root system. It's really packed in there. So I'm just going to bring the camera down so you can see. There we go. I'm just going to maneuver these roots around just a little bit so that they don't continue to travel in a circle. See how big they are? They're always so beautiful and white. If you break a few, that's okay. They will just regrow. A little bit of care tips for alocasias in general. If you live in a really hot climate, they would like to be in a partially shaded location. If you live in a climate like mine, where it's warm for only a few months, full sun is just fine. I'm in zone 6B. Full sun is just fine. But if you live somewhere really, really hot, partly shaded would be really, really good. These really grow best when they have a nighttime temperature that's around 20 degrees Celsius, and also daytime temperature above 20 as well, Celsius. You'll notice that when they drop below 20 degrees, it won't kill the plant, but you'll notice that the growth rate really slows down significantly. And watch for the growth rate to slow, because that's when you're going to start cutting back on the watering and feeding. You don't want to overfeed or overwater when it's not actually growing. You could end up burning some roots. So when you bring it in for the winter, if you're in a climate like me and that happens, just let it dry out completely before you water it again, and you should have no problem. If you water it like you do in the summertime when it's actively growing in the house, over winter, you'll notice that you'll probably end up rotting it out. You'll wonder, hey, how come? And that's the reason why. So, just going to remove some of this soil from the top as well. So many roots in here. Poor thing. Got to be careful of the leaves there. If you break any leaves or damage any leaves, don't worry. In a few weeks' time, you'll have a new one, and you'll just cut off the gross ones. That's what I do. I find that alocasias, colocaceas, all elephant ears, tend to really only support 3 nice leaves, and then the 4th one starts to yellow and not look as nice. So, yeah. If you have a plant and some of the older leaves are yellowing, that is totally normal. Okay, so let's plunk this down in here. That's a perfect height. We got enough soil in there this time. I'm really excited to show you guys this as it grows. I hope you're as excited about this as I am. I just sound like a fool, I'm sure. Let me move the pot out of the way, and we'll get some soil here. It's a big plant, it's tipping over. There we go. Again, I should have brought out a knife. These bags are very thick in comparison to others. There we go. We got it. All right. The plant wants to come through the camera. I'm sorry. The leaves are so big, they're getting away from me. Alright. This should work. There we go. Trying to center it in the pot as best I can. There we go. Like I said, we've got fertilizer in the bottom. Don't worry if it's not completely straight. These plants grow very, very quickly, and you'll see that they straighten themselves out over time. There we go. Just firm it down. Add a little bit more soil. And it's beautiful. We'll step back away from it and have a look at it in a second. I wonder how big it's going to look, or how big it's going to get by the end of this season. I'm so excited to see that. We're just going to water it in. Actually, let's add a little bit more fertilizer first. Just scrape it in with your fingers to move it around. Slow release anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's just on the soil surface. I'll water this in more when I find it its spot. I don't want to get it too heavy, so let's come back away from this and see what it looks like. So here's its new home for now. It will probably get planted in the front garden next year, but I'm not going to rip apart the garden for this season. Probably going to put it where the Brugmansia is at the moment. It's not doing what I really thought it would. So it looks beautiful. I'm going to cut off that old stem close to the base, and then in a few months I'll give you an update before winter and show you how big it's gotten. I'm sure if you follow me on Facebook, the Plants and Things page or the Plants and Things What's Growing page, you will see many photos as this thing grows. I'm really excited to see if it does become a giant. In the name, Borneo Giant, it says a lot. Anyway, happy growing, everyone. Fabulous. As you can see, when I first bought it, it only had one flower spike, and now, a couple of years later, I have 3 flower spikes. So it's beautiful, and like I said, it's sequential. They've now lined up. They used to kind of be staggered, so